Okay, this is a post-game analysis. This is a session where I played too long, and I want to know why. So I'm gonna try to see what went wrong here. So let's give it a shot. So maybe the first thing is that I didn't explicitly set my checkpoint or harvest. I did it when I was playing. I did, however, do that in this post review. So you notice we started at $400. The checkpoint's at 3, and harvest is at 700. Starting out at 1250 bets on the nickel, which is the max bet for nickel. So I suppose my strategy was try to get a max bet bonus. Trying 750 now, walking. $356, no 10x yet. No significant wins. Just getting started. Walking the bets now. From the bottom, 250. Let's see if I go all the way to the top. I'm sticking at 5. Why am I interested at 5? What am I thinking? Okay, deciding. So I want to pause here just for a minute. Wondering why I decided to go to the 2-cent denom. I started at max. Okay, so certainly chasing, I would say. Looking at my player shifts, chasing that win or that bonus at max. Didn't quite get it. I traversed all the nickels. Didn't get any 10x. So I guess based on that, and I don't know if I looked at my bankroll or not, but I am at 319. So I'm only $19 away from my checkpoint. I'm not sure if I was aware of it at that point, but I'm getting really close. Now, I think one thing I might be falling on here is I is like a recency bias. At one point on this particular machine, on the 2-cent denom at $3 bet, I saw someone land the grand, and I was like, "Wow, that's awesome!" Right. So after walking the nickels and getting really nothing, it looks like I'm trying to this $3 bet for a while, but I'm wondering if I'm falling into that trap of recency bias. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I didn't stay there too long. So now I'm kind of thinking, all right, let's see what's there. So let's see, how long did it take me to get there? It took me about $100 from the nickel all the way up to max bet on nickel, walking the nickel for a few times around, then walking the 2-cent, or actually not walking, just at the $3 bet. Didn't try anything else, and then decided, you know what, I let me see what's if there's anything happening at the penny. I kind of sense a little bit of frustration here, like, you know, what is going to hit. So let's see what happens. All the way down at 75 cents. All right. So just a quick pause here. I think that was one of the few times so far that we've actually got higher than our bet. So that was, even though it was a $3 bet and I was just blasting through these. That's another thing I would say is that I can tell maybe I'm getting a little bit frustrated here as a player is because I'm fast tapping these. I'm kind of speeding through. So that is not honoring one of the shifts that we have from haste to pace, right? So either I'm playing too fast or too long, or too often. And just plowing through this. I think another thing another factor that might be coming into play for me here is that it's a 75-cent bet. So relative to the other bets, it's a small bet, right? So in my mind, I might be thinking, it doesn't matter if I speed through these. I just want to understand, is there a win here at 75? And I guess the question is, right, the reason, why did I come to the pennies in the first place? It's like, well, if I wanted to see what was hitting, right, would I instead walk the pennies, or am I just going to continue to spin at the lowest denominator, or the lowest possible bet for this penny machine? Okay, so that's a big hit right there. Let's see what we get. Okay, now look, that's an $18 bet. Okay, and you'll also notice that I just zipped through that. All right, so what I'm going to do here is at 75 cents at the penny denom, I got an $18 bet, right? So $18. So what is that? That is, let's see here. So that's a 24x. Okay, so I got a 24x return on the 75 cents, which is higher than by far than anything else. Okay, let's see. The other thing I'd say is that you notice I didn't even celebrate that win. That's a 24x win, right? And maybe it was just the amount. It's like it's only $18, relative to the $12.50 bets that I was betting earlier, right? It's still a good line hit that I didn't celebrate. All right, here we go. First bonus. Ugh. Okay, hold on. Let me back up for a minute. What was that? Sorry, wasn't paying attention. I was distracted. Okay, so here's another one, right? So this is only a 10xer, but I remember I am capturing anything over 10x. So let's see, $10 divided by the 75 cents is 13. So it's a 13.3x. And we're gonna call that. I'm gonna call it a 13x, and then I'm gonna put a B here so we know this is a bonus. All right. So this is where we track our 10x wins. All right. So this is what a 24x. That was not a bonus. That was a line hit. All right. Cool. Taking quite a few spins here at 75 cents. All right. Hit again. See what we get here. So even watching this playback, I'm getting a little anxious, right? Like I want to speed this up. I want to hurry up and get through this just so I can see what the result is. And I think that is part of growing as a player, is to get that under control, like to enjoy this, right? Rather than just want it to be over simply for the result. Okay, let's see what we have here. Comes the mansion. All right. So I think this is the highest so far. It is. So 2650. Let's see what that is. 2650 divided by 0.75. That's a 35x return. 35x, and that was also a bonus. Nice. Okay, so now we go right back to fast spinning, right? Didn't even really much enjoy that. Also kind of watching the checkpoint here. It's at 300. And we were pretty close to it coming into the 75-cent denom. We've stayed above it so far. Right. For whatever reason, I decided to slow down a little bit. Maybe I realized I was speeding through these and didn't want to do that anymore. It's a psychological tease. Oh, I just jumped to 750. So I think that's significant. Okay, let me see what happened there. Did I go? I went straight from 75 to 750. Okay, no, I walked it up. $1.50. 225. Okay. Ooh. 225 was teasy. You know, I'm gonna mark these little teasies too. I don't know how I can do that and show that to you. I don't know how to do that yet. Let's see. We'll go to, you may not be able to see this on the screen, but I'm gonna mark the teases here. So 225, we'll call it, yeah. I'm just gonna mark it here as a 1. So all the way up to 750. Now I noticed I didn't go back to the bottom. So I came back to 225. Maybe that was a mental thing. So what I noticed, or maybe I noticed that real time here and said, you know, it looks like 225. It felt like the closest, right, with that near miss, but it's just a near miss. It didn't necessarily mean anything. It didn't mean anything, right? But it did influence my behavior. So now I was like, well, that didn't work. Back to the bottom. This is where I've had the luck before. It might be the thinking. All right, so here's another thing. I totally just blew past my checkpoint of 300. I'm at 278 right now, right? Even on the rewatch, right? All this, I'm just thinking through. I'm playing my own game. I didn't even notice it was at 300, right? So for me moving forward, I think what I want to do is like set like either a timer or something else. Like think of a way where I might be able to be a little more conscientious of the the amount of cash that's in the game and test it against the checkpoint. 180. Back to the fast spins. So sensing a little bit of that frustration. Starting to walk again. Top. So really the only thing that's hit so far is that 75 cents. We've had a 13x, a 24x, and a 35x. Wow. So when is it enough for me, right? When is it enough? Well, I've had enough of the 75 cents. Now I'm going to try the 150 again. Looks like I took a little pause there. What was I thinking? Didn't change my strategy. Now I'm at 231. What do I want to do? What did I do? Gonna walk the 2 cent, or actually try the bottom of 2 cents, it appears. Maybe the logic was that, you know, I had luck on the bottom of 1 cent. Let's see if I can have luck at the bottom of 2, which didn't last very long. So now I'm walking the bet back up again. So another thing, another point I kind of want to make here is like, you notice how my bets are, you know, first of all, I broke the rule starting, right, is whatever my wager in, it's 1/100th of, you know, my max bet. So in this case, since it was 400, my max bet, and actually I didn't put it in here, but my max bet should have been $4, right? So I'm not following the rule, right? If I wanted to bet 1250, I would have a total of of $1,250 as a wager in. So I think, I've been experimenting with this a little bit to say, ask the question, if I want to bet $1,250, do I have $1,250 to play in? If the answer is yes, can I wager in just 400 at a time, like as a forcing function, right? Or maybe even that 25% of that 1250, right? Which would be what, about about 300 or so, 300, a little over 300. But again, I think I'm over betting, right? And that's another one of our shifts, is the difference, or the shift from going busted to bankrolling, right? I think I'm a little on that bust side right now. So I'm all the way up to max bet at $9. Sensing a little bit of frustration just in the speed here. Yep, I'm not stopping for anything. I'm just going. Definitely in that kind of trance-like state. Finally hit at $1.50. It's $1.50 at 2 cents. Let's see what this is. This is a bonus. Nice, starting with the at least 4 houses. That's cool. So I'm well over my checkpoint. I haven't done any adjustments, right? I haven't asked, when is my next checkpoint? Definitely got into some sort of like zombie mode and just pushing without. I thought I was thinking. Just shows how easy it is to kind of fall into these psychological gamification traps, even when you're trying to be aware of it. Nice. It's a lot of hats. I like this 150. Feeling good about it. Of course, let's see what the numbers tell us. Another gold. Awesome. All right. Come on, mansions. All right, awesome. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that's pretty cool. So this is at the 2 cent. So one's about 170. And wow, that's a good one. We're gonna divide. Now another thing I'd say is, well, first of all, let's divide that by $1.50. Whoa, that's 113x. Okay, hold on. Just going to pause for a moment here. That was 113x. Okay, and I just went on like nothing. All right. I'm back above 300, which is right about where I started initially when I came to the 2 cent denom from the nickel. Right, and I'm just not really paying attention. That's something to be celebrated. 113x, that's awesome. All right, so I think I got excited about it and thought, okay, let's see if we can make it happen again. So still trying here at 150. And again with the fast, just trying to get it more interested in getting it over with, it seems, than playing the game. That's not cool. slowing down a little bit better. Again, our player shift, we don't want to rush through this. We want to be able to take our own time, play at our own pace, enjoy the game. Okay, now I'm walking again. Again, way above my max bet threshold. All the way up to $9 on that last case. Looks like I'm zipping through the $1.50, see if I can hit again. And violating my haste to pace shift. Finally said, had enough of that. Now that's interesting what I just said, had enough of that, right? So when we talk about when do I have enough, right? I think I need to be more aware of like what I felt like when I decided to move, right? I was, for whatever reason, there are certain conditions met. For me personally, we're like, okay, it's not here, right? It's not. I tried to walk it. I tried to pound the lowest. The lowest. I went up to at $1.50. I hit it once. I got a good return. That was a great return, actually, 113x. Try to go up to $3. Wasn't happening. So in my mind, it appears that it's like, all right, let me try what haven't I tried? Maybe that's the question I asked, is what haven't I tried? Decided to go to 10. And I guess the thing is that it's not only what haven't I tried, is like, do I want to continue, right? I think I need to offer myself that option. It's like, am I being played by the game, or am I playing my game? Right now, I think I'm being played by the game. It feels that way. All right. So straight to 10 cents, first time here. We're 2 for 2, it appears, on the 10 cent. So small wins, at least on the first couple of spins. And now we are 2 for 6. So that was the 9th spin for a 3.6x. So that's about, ooh, I went to 15. Wow, now I'm going 20. Oh, nice. So I went all the way up to 20 thinking, let's just take a moment here, all right? Let's see what triggered this behavior for me. Let's see if I can think about this just a little bit. We're going to go back. All right, so I was still at 5. Again, trying to learn about myself here and how I play, how this game influences me. So I went several. Okay, I started strong with a couple of small wins, and then there was a series, I believe, of like no wins. This might even have been a mini game for me to play. So okay, I'm gonna play 10 spins at $5. It's a $50 mini game. And if I don't get something, I'm gonna try something else. So for me at that point, all right, so now I'm jumping up. I guess the question is why, right? That could have been the end of my mini game. I was like, okay, I hit good at $1.50, which is the lowest on the 2 cent denom. I'm trying this nickel, not working. What happens if I go up? I think I hit what, a 2.6 here, or 3.6. Okay, so that gave me I guess the thought, maybe what I was thinking was, all right, maybe these 10 cent bets, right? I would like to try each of them to see if there's something there. Now that's beautiful, right? At 20, which is great hit. So let's see what we get here. So it's a $20 bet at the dime. I have to be careful not to be influenced by lucky guests winning jackpots. All right. This is exciting, right? You get a $20 hit on the max the max denom for the game. A 10-cent denom is the highest this game goes. And again, I'm starting out with 4 houses, so this is similar to the $1.50 starting point, which is really cool. I mean, my hopes are high. Let's see what happens here. So, by the way, this another reason I was playing this game is because the major was not maxed out, but it was up there. I think it was like I don't know, maybe like $3,000 or $4,000. So I really wanted to kind of take a shot. I thought I had a legitimate shot at that major with this bet here. Let's see what we actually got. So 2 mansions. We only need 1. Let's see what our return is. So starting low at half of the bet. Let's see what the little... Okay. 2x, 3x, 5x. Come on, mansions. 300, 600. All right. So let's see what we have here. $870. So 870 divided by 20 should be about half that. 43.5. We'll call it a 44. Well, no, let's call it what it is. 43.5, 43xer, and it was a bonus. I think actually this one's a bonus too, right? All right, nice. So wait, what just happened? It was playing and I was busy doing other stuff. Did I drop back down to a penny? So I dropped to a penny after that. 890. All right. So first of all, let's pause for a moment, okay? I am now at $1,107. My harvest was $700, okay? I blew past that. That was great, right? So this would have been a wonderful time for me to be like, awesome, I hit my harvest level, cash out, put fresh cash in there, and start playing my game again, right? Take a look at what I've learned. It's like, okay, I've hit on 75. My biggest hit so far has been on $1.50 at 2 cents. But take that money out of the machine, right? And then put another, put a fresh, 400 in. All right, let's see. But instead, what I did is I was like, immediately go back to where I hit big before. So I remembered, all right, I had a big hit on $1.50. Let's go hit that. Let's go try that again. All right, so now I got a bonus there. Cool. So now I feel like a genius. All right. Again, all luck. All right, all random number. So I'm trying not to. I can't let that get too much into my head, right? Let's see what we get. So we had 113 last time. Let's see what we get this time. Okay, only one mansion this time around. $1.50 at 2 cents. Mostly below the original bet. Okay. Up to 4x, 4.5x, 5x. See what the mansion has for us here. Coinage, mini, and we have, what's that, 46.50. Divided by our $1.50. What is that x? So 31x. So we had 113, so 31x. And now I'm deciding to go back up to 5 cent. Haven't hit anything on the 5 cent yet. No bonus on the 5 cent. No 10x line hits on the 5 cent. We've hit on the 10 cent, 2 cent. Well, there you go. Let's see. What was that? Nice. So 750 bet. Over 10x. Nice. So 135. So another thing is, here, let me just pause this for a moment. I'm trying to like celebrate those wins. It's 135 bucks. All right. That's an 18x. So what we get to do now is, let's see, that was a 750, right? And that was at the 10 cent denom. Oh no, the nickel. It was at the nickel. 0.5. And actually, this is 10 cents. Yeah. All right. And that was an 18x. And that was a line hit. So good money. But again, I didn't really celebrate it. I didn't, I just like, okay, whatever, move on. In fact, it looks like I'm increasing my bet now. All the way up to the top, 10 and 12.50. Okay. So let me make a pause here for a moment. So if I were to be playing, if I were to be paying close attention here, at I now at $1,252, I legitimately have a 1/100 at 12.50 bet here, right? That I could play if I chose to, right? So this is the first time on those 12.50 bets that I'm actually betting what my bankroll would, that fits my bankroll rules. What it didn't say is like, that wasn't my starting point, right? Because I should have cashed out by now, right? And then made another play decision if I was following my rules. So let's see what happens since I didn't. So staying at 250. Let's see, what is that at? It's only a 3x. It's a 3x. Small. Celebrate the small things, right? Trying top of the nickels again. I think I have a sense of like keeping it under control here, right? So at the nickels, we hit on 750. I'm trying the 250 at the bottom. Not quite working. It's like, okay. I think I have a sense of like that money going down. So try the pennies again, it looks like. I am rushing these. So it's the Haste Pace player shift that I'm not honoring. So we did have a tease at 225 earlier. I guess another thing here, hit at 75, so this will be our fourth 10xer at 75, our third bonus. I'm at 20 minutes of play right here, right, with basically no interruption. I've been playing really fast. And I'm up, right? Didn't really take the time to cash out or thinking about cashing out, I think. All right, so that was a pretty weak bonus. Let's see what the return is. So I think another key here is like I'm playing by myself, right? I'm playing alone right now, right? I'm thinking if I were playing with other people might have been like, hey, you know, is it time to move on or whatever. So 750, wow. So 850, that was barely a 10x. So let's see here. It's 11x on a bonus. All right, so it looks like I've jumped up to the nickel now, and I'm walking it again. What if I wanted a nickel? I've only won at 750, and that was an 18x. So by far, well, that's definitely a tease at $10. Tease me enough to do it again. And again. Huh. Alright, so I'm going to mark that down also. $10 tease on a nickel. Now I'm hitting that 1250 really hard on a nickel. Why am I doing that? 5. What was I thinking? It's like, okay. Small one at 750. What am I thinking now? Go back to that 225 where I had that tease earlier, so maybe that's still eating at me a little bit. Yeah. Those near misses are not, don't mean anything as far as like how close or far away I am. Ooh, see, that in itself is a tease also. All right, looks, could have had the piggies and that those row of hats gotten away. Again, all part of the design of the game. It's like, nope. So I had enough of the 2 cents. Now I'm going back to the 5s. Or to the nickels. Having a little bit of luck here. It looks like some small wins at 250. What does that tell? What is that signaling to? So another thing is too, notice my bankroll, right? It just went below $1,000. So I'm quickly starting to lose my advantage here. The original harvest level was 300, right? So if I were actually watching the wager in, right, up to 1200, my checkpoint would have changed also. And again, this isn't just logic, right? This isn't just metrics or numbers. This is more, you know, emotion and managing the environment, the game itself. We're battling, you know, as players, we're influenced by the game itself, influenced by what's happening in the background, all the sounds, you know, we're influenced by the people, potentially influenced by the people around us, right? So we first have to claim control over the external factors and then claim control over the internal factors, which is our own, what's going on in our own hearts and our own heads. And that's the whole premise behind the player shifts. All right, so I just want to pause here for a moment, right? Because I didn't pause during the game, right? I want to pause now. If I were to take a look at where I was, I think it was, I don't know, maybe 1200 or so, maybe at the highest. I'm now, you know, $300 below that. I've been hitting it pretty hard on the nickels. The only thing I got on the nickels was a $7.50 bet, and that was only 18x. The best I've had so far, the best return has been on the $1.50. Bet at 2 cents at 113x, which was great. The penny bets, the 75-cent bets, have been maxed out at 35. They're averaging, I would say, maybe about 15 to 18 outside of that at 35, 15 to 18x return, which is kind of close to where that nickel's at. So I have to ask the question, when is it enough for me? When can I stop? I'm not asking myself that question while I'm during this session when I'm playing this game at this time, and I'm asking myself now. So in the future, you'll notice it says here on the game on the player sheet is, what do I want more of, and what do I have enough of? And the other thing is what do I want more of right now, right? Because timing is very important. I'm not even asking that question. I'm just blowing through. I'm acting on heuristics and emotion right now, saying, hey, I want one more bonus, or I want another bonus at the dime, for example. And I'm probably thinking, hey, I hit it at $20 before. Let's see if I can do it again. So let's see what happens here. Yep, so I'm walking it up. So let's see if I go to, no. So I stayed at 15, it looks like. So I still have a little bit of control, right? I'm still thinking, it's like, didn't like that much. It's like trying to go back to where I was before, the $1.50, where I hit, see if I can hit it again. So kind of going for this. I want more of $1.50 is what my behavior is telling me. And it's like, I want another bonus of 75 cents. I actually just said that right now. Heard it through the audio, so I'm shooting for this now. Why do I want that? When will I have enough of it? Definitely just powering through, right? Zombie mode right here. Let's see how long it takes for me to slow down. Okay, there you go. So now I'm deciding to walk that bet. So let's see. Bonuses at 75, 150, 750, and $20. Looks like I'm speeding through the bottom of the nickel. And again, have hit nothing on the nickel so far except for the 750 bet. And that was an 18x. That was a tease at 10. So I think that too, right, might say something. Is that's a 2x on 1250. It could have connected, right? It showed you something very close. We had a tease at $10. Now we have a tease at $7.50. So 4 hats and 2. So it's really, look at that, at $10 again, right? So it might influencing me to say hit 10, hit 10, hit 10. All right, let's see what I do. There it is. Oh, there's the tease again. Let's see how many times I'm influenced to do this. This is the third time. It gives me a little something back. Not even my bet. All right, so that's 4. Fifth spin at 10. So that mechanism of that near win cost me $60. Even my wife was like, "Get out!" It's like, and I'm not listening, right? So I need to. I think that's another thing is like playing with somebody else is important, but when you get into these zones, right, it's hard to get out. And I think we need to give ourselves these escapes, right? It's like, hey, you're playing too fast, right? What shift do you want to make right now as a player, right? This is why I created those player shifts from Haste to Pace, for example, from bust to bankroll, right? Let's not put all this money back in. Let's cash out. Like, let's honor our time. Let's set some time limits, right? We're already 28 minutes of play, and look at this. I'm not slowing down for anything. I'm just going, right? I'm set on getting this bonus and what for, right? When would it be enough for me? Back to the $3 bet. I have won nothing on the $3 bet. How many spins have I taken? Lots of them. So finally hit on the $3 bet. So let's see if it was worth it for me. So I went a long time without a bonus, right? In fact, I think I cycled through like $600 or so before I got this bonus. So more than half of my payroll. I'm still up, believe it or not. I started with 400. At this point, I'm still up, even after, you know, that reckless play. So no mansion, again, small. It feels small. Let's see what we get here. Chasing that $3 for what? Let's find out. So $50 or so. 49.20. All right, let's see what that is. 49.20 divided by $3 is 16.4x. So 16x. Okay. We had a 16x bonus on $3, 18x. And so what did I do? Hold on. Did I immediately switch to 5? Yep. So now, okay, I just won a 16x bonus on $3, which I've been chasing forever, right? A low return. So obviously the return itself, right, wasn't enough for me to say, nope, I've had enough of this game, right? Nope, I'm still in this. I want more. And the question is why? What do I want more of? I want another, I'm up 200 or $262 right now. My starting point was 400. Okay, I haven't adjusted my checkpoint. I haven't put anything in the pad. The pad is to play another day. That's another strategy that we use. I haven't put anything in there, right? So I really haven't. I'm not really taking care of being a responsible player in this particular session. All right, so let's continue on. I'm at nickels, $10. So why am I going back to the nickels 10? That's because I had at least a tease before. I had one tease. So again, psychologically, I'm thinking about that, right? I've been chasing that $3 bet. That was again that was a tease. That was something from recency bias that I'd seen someone win the grand on that before. The major is high right now on this machine, and I'm chasing that I'm chasing that major, right? I'm really chasing it here. I'm deeply rooted into that chase frame of mind rather than a choose frame of mind. If I was choosing, I would I would have been following my rules here, right? I would have cashed out already. But instead, I'm upping my game. I want more. I want that bonus right now. Okay. Let's try it at 5. Nope, didn't work. Let's try it at 10. Am I going to go up again? There it is. Let's see if I go up to 20 because I'm thinking I hit it last time. And there's the double saw tease. There's the 20. I was influenced to do it. And another tease at 20. Said, well, let's try the top. Okay, and this is where your money goes really fast. And it is. I'm in it. There's that 20. Let's see if it teases me again. Not this time. All the way to the top. Let's see if I walk it. Nope, now I'm at the bottom again. Okay, so I just blew past my starting point of 400, right? I was spinning so fast in betting those high bets that I am now down for the session. Where I was at one time up $800, I am now down, 22 or so. Did it slow me down? Nope. What's it going to take? When is it going to be enough? Another tease at 15. Recency bias, I hit it 20 before. I can do it again. All the way at the top, testing bottom, nothing. All right, still not enough. 268. Going back to the $3 where we had 16x before. So what I want more of? Finally had enough. Okay, so let's take a look here. We started, and I didn't get the final, but I was certainly down. And so what did I learn? Right, I learned that I need to better understand, like, when do I have enough, right? I think that quit, I mean, even as abrupt as the as abruptly as it ended, I think that that's an indication of like, dude, I'm just done, right? So I certainly lost money. I didn't honor my max bet. I didn't honor my cash out. I didn't honor my player shifts. So I think moving forward, right, I want to keep better records, because I didn't really have this in front of me while I was playing. I did this after as a post review with you here, and so I could kind of learn my own play a little bit better. All right. Well, I hope you. I know this was useful for me, right? It helps me as a player grow, and what to do next time. So I guess kind of my lessons learned were, like, honor your player shifts. Don't speed through everything. It's about the journey, right? It's about the playing the game, enjoying the game, not necessarily about the results. I definitely chased a lot of stuff, so that put my player shift from chase to choose, right? I need to do better on that. Bust to bankroll, need to do better on that, meaning that I need to honor my max limit there, of in this case $4 or 400. And by the way, if I were to honor that, right, I never would have done the 20 and never would have done the 750. And I would have won a majority of these, right? I would have won the 75, I would have won the 150, and I would have won the $3, right? So these $20 and 750 bets, and anything above the $4 threshold, max bet threshold, the 1/100th of my original, right, probably would have been a different outcome. I do have regret here for not cashing out. I always need to be cashing out. That's part of that bust to bankroll. But not obvious, and I didn't put anything into pad. Play another day, right? So I need to make that more of a practice, right? So for example, if I were to cash out that 1,200, I would have put half of that. If I were to follow my rules, half of that would have gone into pad. So it would have been $600 into pad, right? So I could have come back with a fresh $400, have $200 more than what I started, and $600 into my pad, which is the play another day. That's the kind of the gambling box, the lock box that I bring with me. You put your money in there, and that money is guaranteed for the next time you come out, right? You're taking that home with you, right? That's something I did not do. So lots of good lessons here. And again, I hope this, in me sharing my journey with you, it's something useful for you. And if you have any questions or comments or ideas, we're here to grow together. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only, just for me sharing my view and my player experience, and what I'm learning. Okay, well, thank you for joining, and we'll see you at the next game.